And when you think you do, that is when the people have every right to rise up and demand a change in the power. And that's what the slogan, all power to the people, means. When Glenn Ford and other people said all power to the people, when the students say all power to the students, all power to the people, what they're saying is we are challenging unjust power, bureaucratic power, arrogant power. And when we unite with the community, we are saying that a coalition of the people cannot be stopped. The people united has never been defeated.
Right.
That's a lesson that we've learned from history. A people united has never been defeated. It's only when the people are disunited that we are defeated. The unity that we are building here cannot be stopped. You know, about a month ago, we met with the president and the chairman of the board of trustees, not because they agreed to a meeting with us, but because there was a sit-in, a show of people's power. And they did the right thing. They met with us. They listened to us. We stated our case. We called for my reinstatement, and we asked that Dean Soufas be removed. Not as an act of retaliation or revenge, but we said that Dean Soufas was plagued by a misperception of Temple University, by a lack of knowledge of the environment that she came into, by which we mean Philadelphia and North Philadelphia in particular. In fact, she said it to me, to a question that I put to her at the first meeting that our department had with Dean Soufas. And I asked her very simply and politely, how do you see the relationship of our department, the Department of African American Studies, to the black community? And she replied, as they say, with the quickness, I don't see a black community. And of course, you know, I studied Du Bois, and the first thing that came to my mind was the Philadelphia Negro, a social study, the first real urban sociology done in the United States. Could you have been so unaware of where you were coming that you could make such a statement? So there was a lack of knowledge from the beginning, but then there was an unwillingness to learn, to listen, to engage. But finally, Dean Soufas suffers, and she's not alone in this, from a wrong racial philosophy. Now, this is not a small thing in America. Race, as Du Bois taught us, is the problem of the 20th century, of the 21st century, and has been the problem of America since the beginning. If you're wrong on race, what can you be right on? And so Dean Soufas has a wrong racial philosophy, a lack of knowledge, an unwillingness to listen and learn, and a deep misperception. So we called for her to be removed. A troubled tenure, troubled, an authoritarian style, bullying. I know of at least 5 African American men who have been forced out of Temple by Dean Soufas's style of leadership. Now, you talk to people in the administration, they all have a different story and narrative about this. This one left because of this, and you don't know everything about why that one went. But the fact of the matter is, if 5 African-American men professors are driven out of a university, whether or not each of them has a different story about why they were forced out, you have to look at that person in leadership. There's a problem of leadership in the College of Liberal Arts. Now, the College of Liberal Arts, I'm going to go quickly. Without a College of Liberal Arts, you do not have a university. What we do in liberal arts is to teach people to think, to teach the human arts, how to be a human being. In fact, if we do our jobs properly, we teach people how to love. We teach compassion. You cannot have a leadership of a College of Liberal Arts that lacks compassion and think you can carry out the mission of African American studies, which is to teach compassion. Finally, let me say this. 50 years ago, in 1964, a Southern president named Lyndon Johnson signed the Comprehensive Civil Rights Act. For the first time in the history of the nation, really, allowing African Americans the possibility of being citizens of this country, which they contributed so much to building. Lyndon B. Johnson transcended his comfort zone. He did what few thought he would do. 50 years later, we're calling upon President Theobald to do the moral equivalent of what Lyndon Johnson did in 1964. Transcend your comfort zone. Come out of that comfortable administrative protective place called the Presidency of Temple and do the right thing. And in doing the right thing, Philadelphia will look upon you with compassion, with respect. Stay up there and don't meet with the students. Allow my firing to stand. And I can tell you, President Theobald, in fact, I can guarantee it, you will be held in utter contempt by your neighbors in North Philadelphia. One of the things I said to President Theobald when we met with him is that my grandparents came to North Philadelphia from South Carolina. And they moved into North Philadelphia and became neighbors to Temple University. I've always lived in a neighborhood close to North Philadelphia. I said to him, I know Temple University better than most of the professors and most of the administrators. In fact, I said, I know it better than you, Dr. Theobald. I saw this university evolve. I saw it move, and I should say my grandparents saw this university move from the vision of Russell Conwell. There are diamonds out here who are poor, working class, and immigrants. And we want a university for them, a people's university, albeit he did not yet see the African American people, the descendants of slaves. But yet, that kernel of moral righteousness, a university for the people. Not like the University of Pennsylvania, a university for the elite. Not like Columbia, not like Harvard, Princeton. More like Lincoln University, Cheney State, more like the HBCUs, universities for the people, of the people, by the people. Conwell had a democratic vision. 100 years later, the democratic vision has been smothered under a vision of profit-making. A new McCarthyism. Silence those you don't agree with. Shut down uncomfortable discourses. We don't need Du Bois in African American studies. Do we need Bach in the College of Music? Do we need Hegel and Kant in the philosophy department? Do we need Weber and Durkheim in sociology? Do we need Noam Chomsky in linguistics? If we need those thinkers in those disciplines, who has the audacity to say in 2014 that we don't need Du Bois in African American studies? That is a shameful, shameless, despicable, and audacious statement, confirming the fact that Dean Soufas and those who have advised her have a lack of knowledge of not only where they are, but the time of day in the history of humanity that it is. Finally, we will win this battle. Believe me, we have to win this battle. We've come too far now to turn around. We will not take no for an answer. Truth forever on the scaffold, wrong forever on the throne. But it is the scaffold that sways the future, James Russell Lowell said. Martin Luther King reminded us as he looked back to Pastor Niemoller, the anti-Nazi Christian in Nazi Germany, who said then, when they came for the Jews, I did not stand up because I was not a Jew. When they came for the peace activists, I did not stand up because I was neither an activist nor a fighter for peace. When they came for the socialists, I did not stand up because I was not a socialist. When they came for the trade unionists, I did not stand up because I was not a trade unionist. When they came for the communists, I did not stand up because I was not a communist. And when they came for me, there was nobody to stand up for me. King looked back, and his theology is rooted in that looking back to Nazi Germany and the failure of Christians in Nazi Germany, in the Christian church, Catholic and Lutheran, to stand up. When he looked back, he said that we can never say that, well, justice will come on its own and we don't have to act. We must always act on behalf of justice. We have no alternative. The very fact that we have this opportunity to stand up is an opportunity of a lifetime. Thank you, Dean Soufas. Thank you, Dr. Asante, for giving us this great opportunity. As that song says, thank you for letting me be my own self again. Thank you. But Martin Luther King talked about the tragic misconception of time, and I'm going to end here. The tragic misconception of time and what Jimmy Baldwin called the long mean time. The long, mean time of suffering, the long, mean time of injustice, the long, mean time of arrogance. Martin Luther King taught us that in this long, mean time, don't get it twisted, time will not resolve the crisis and the contradictions of humanity. Only men and women standing up as human beings against bad faith, acting in good faith, acting to be human. And in being human, we make sacrifices, but we save our souls, we save the future. We are fighting for the future. We will win. We must win. This is a powerful institution. We are going to make it a great institution. Thank you very much.
Monteiro in, Soufas out. Monteiro in, Soufas out. Monteiro in, Soufas out.
Monteiro in, Soufas out.
Now I want to introduce Brother Kier. He has some spoken word and some drums, a piece that he's going to do. So give it up for Brother Kier.
All right. Thank you, Patrice. All right. I didn't expect to go after people like Glenn Ford and Dr. Monteiro and the students, and it's a real honor to be able to present my music. I'm a musician. I live in West Philly. When I moved here, I found out that Dr. Monteiro turns out for everything that I care about. He turns out for political prisoners. He turns out for their families. He turns out against gentrification. And so it's an honor to turn out for him today. I'm going to play this piece, but I want to say one more thing about the value of Dr. Monteiro's education, as I understand it. About 6 months ago, I participated in a rally down at the park, Fairmount Park, against some neo-Nazis. We had some large people facing us, some people who were about 4 times my size. One of them picked me up and was ready to throw me on the pavement. Very frightening situation. And it was students of Dr. Monteiro's who locked arms with me and held me on the ground and prevented that from happening to me. I'm very grateful for that kind of teaching. Anyway, so here's this piece. It's riffing on something that Dr. Monteiro just quoted. It's called Conquistadors. First they came for the forest, and I did not speak out because I did not live in the forests. And they came for the rivers, and I did not speak out because I did not live by the rivers. And then they came for the mountaintops, and I did not speak out because I did not live on the mountaintops. And then they came for the oceans, and I did not speak out because I did not live on the coast. And then they came for Africa, and I did not speak out because I was not from Africa. And they came for the Arctic Circle, and I did not speak out because I did not live on the Arctic Circle. And they came for Australia, California, Tuvalu, Bangladesh, and the Maldives, and I did not speak out. And they came for the Caribbean, and I did not speak out because it became fashionable to vacation elsewhere. And they came for gas in the Niger Delta, and I did not speak out because I was not from Nigeria. And they came for the shale in North America, and I did not speak out because I did not know what that means. They came for the young men and women, and I did not speak out because I did not have to enlist to get a living. And they came for human breast milk, and I did not speak out because I did not know they were making it toxic. They came for the arts, and I did not speak out. I was busy watching television. They came for the integrity of DNA, and I did not speak out. They came for biodiversity, and I did not speak out. They came for the farms and seeds, and I did not speak out. They came with their cages to build zoos, their feedlots, and their slaughterhouses, and their prisons, and I did not speak out. They came with their trawlers to vacuum the seabeds, and I did not speak out. They came for the olive groves, and I did not speak out because they were not my grandfather's olive groves. They came for the satellite, they came their civil rights to frame. They came with their, I got this. They came with their laws to frame civil rights politically. They came with their satellites and wiretaps, their police and their guns. They came with their flags. They came with their hope, their change, their mission accomplished, their sustainability, their security, their liberation, their 10% ethanol. They came with their websites, with their news stories, with their special reports, with their travel warnings, with their secret documents. They came with their Saturday afternoon peaceful protest by permission of the municipality. They came with their shit-eating grins. They came with their courts, with their lawyers, with their judges, with their pantsuits, with their candidates, with their managers, with their CEOs. They came with their charts and diagrams. They came with their facts and figures. They came with their free markets, with their money markets, with their marketplace of ideas. They came with their talks, with their summits, with their conferences, with their treaties, with their non-binding agreements. They came with their one hand open and the other hidden. They came with confusing ideologies. They came with their fingers crossed. They came in ships to carry you away. They came in uniforms to take orders. They came in peace to make war. They came in Moscow, Jerusalem, Beijing and Washington, D.C., Detroit and North Philadelphia. They came in the birth canals of their victims and amidst the folds of their religious garments. They came with their toxic smoke and their billowing plumes of oil. They came with their nuclear tests and their green energy. They came with their white phosphorus, with their depleted uranium, with their Coca-Cola, with their sugar substitutes. They came with their cancer treatments. They came with their wars on drugs and diseases and poverty and terror and New Orleans. They came with their slogans. They came in their limousines and in their tuxedos and on their red carpets and with their champagne and at their gala benefits and their aid concerts and their peace prizes and their holidays and their religions and their monuments and their business parks and their space exploration programs. They came with their black skin and white men's hearts. They came as women with the hearts of men. They came with their walls and fences and segregated roads. They came with their checkpoints and passports and identification papers and voter ID. They came into the cities. They came into towns and villages. They came into the countryside. They came into homes. They came to Kyoto, they came to Copenhagen, they came to The Hague, they came to Dayton, Yalta, Vienna, and Versailles. They came to Baghdad, Bagram, Benghazi. They came to Guantanamo Bay. They came to sort us, to divide us, to make a taxonomy out of us, to sell us to each other, to buy us from ourselves. They came for the communists and trade unionists and Jews. They came as communists and trade unionists and Jews. They came with their culture to destroy culture. They came with their language to destroy language. They came with their history to destroy memory. They came with their words to destroy actions, their actions to destroy words. Thank you.
That was powerful. Thank you, Brother Care. Let's give it up for Brother Care. Our last speaker for this event will be Pastor Renee from the historic Church of the Advocate, where Dr. Monteiro has his Saturday classes and where Pastor Dr. Renee is doing so much in the community there. And she's definitely a part of this coalition. She's part of the faith-based part of this coalition, and she came here in support of Dr. Monteiro.
You know, when I introduce myself, especially in places like this, I always say that I'm a proud alum of Temple University. And you know, I'm not going to change that right now, because I'm proud of Temple because I know that Temple will change. But you know who I'm proud of? I'm proud of the students. I'm proud of the way you're standing up and you're being shaped, and you're going to take this fight not just into Temple, but you're going to take it with you when you move into the world, from when you finish here. And then you will shape the world. So let me tell you why I'm standing here. Let me tell you why I support Dr. Monteiro. Because he is willing to allow you to grow. He is willing to listen and help you to engage ideas and see the connection with what you're doing here with what you're going to do in the community. The university is not good at that. And I often wonder, what does it mean for Temple to be a public university? Is it just that we receive funding from public sources? Or is there a deep connection between the things that happen on campus and the things that happen in the community? If that's what it means to be a public university, then I don't think Temple's doing too well in North Philadelphia. Temple made. How do you like that slogan? Temple made, but North Philadelphia shaped. That's the rest of it. Now, the point at which Temple starts to pull away from North Philadelphia, then I'm not sure what Temple is. And I'm not sure who we are when we don't hold Temple accountable for the things that are happening on its behalf. It doesn't mean that Temple is orchestrating everything that's happening in the community, but these things are happening to its benefit. You know, one of my favorite scholars is a woman named Anna Julia Hayward Cooper. And Dr. Cooper says, you know, every human person has a singing something inside of them. And that singing something lets you know when you're not being treated right. That singing something lets you know when you need to stand up and take a stand. That singing something lets you know when you need to say enough is enough. The fight continues. For young people, you're just being shaped for life. Because there is a strong connection between what's happening on Temple University's campus and what's happening in the larger American society. And we have to say that's enough. It can't continue to happen. It got to stop. Claim your territory. Claim your space. And you know, the president will see you. The provost will see you. You just have to hold the institution accountable. Your battle is not against President Theobald. Your battle is against the institution.